Welcome to the Ayurvedic Way, where we explore ancient health and cooking secrets from India that have helped people live in balance for thousands of years. I'm Randall Mark.
And I'm Amrita Sondhi. Today we're going to talk about the role that food can play in connecting us as people. We'll be making a delicious happy cow shepherd's pie.
And I chat with author Robin Harding about the importance of eating together as a family. Stick around, it's going to be a great show. On this episode of the Ayurvedic Way, we're talking about the role that food plays in connecting us as people. This is such a simple recipe, and yet you can make this with your kids. 4 or 5 ingredients. What are these cookies that we're going to make?
Well, the key part is that they're made from carob, and
right.
You know a little bit about the carob.
I was in the Middle East, and I was walking, and this guy said, "Hey, this is a carob tree." And I went, "What? They grow as little pods." I picked this pod in the Middle East, and you just pick it and you can gnaw on it. It tastes a little bit like chocolate. When it's refined and put into these chip forms, it's like a little chocolate chip, but there's no oil in that. There's
That's right, there's
no
fat.
Wow.
It's amazing, and it tastes delicious, and you can make a powder, so you can use this carob powder instead of cocoa. The other thing that's interesting about this recipe is we've used almond meal instead of flour, and the little bit of flour that we have used is made from oats.
One of the things that, before we get into this, because it's really simple to make, is that, again, we have the 3 doshas. Explain the 3 doshas. And when I'm thinking about my family, as I know each individual and what dosha they are, I can learn what food is going to really help them be balanced. So what are the 3 doshas again?
Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata is the wind, Pitta is the fire, and Kapha is the earth.
Right, they're the stable kind of people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Pitta is the fiery people, the leaders, the visionaries, and Vata are the people that get things started, the spontaneous, creative, the ideas people.
Okay, so I'm going to put the butter. Now you can use other types of oil.
You can use coconut oil, and you could have used ghee, so all those are good.
And
this recipe is actually good for even the earth people, because there is no fat in the chocolate and the cocoa. There's a little bit of fat here, but not a lot. So a little bit of sweet calms all the doshas.
So I just mix up, what was this?
That looks nice. Yeah,
maple
just
syrup?
Go for it.
What was this?
Yeah, that's maple syrup, exactly.
Maple syrup
and here
and butter.
I'm going to put the oat flour, the cocoa, and the almond meal. Carob cocoa.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great? And the almond meal is made from fresh almonds that have been blanched and ground up. So that brings all the essential, I'm putting a pinch of salt. That adds the essential omega-3s that are great for the brain, calming all the doshas.
Okay.
Now we can mix these together.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. I'll just make a little well here.
Okay.
In
here.
pour it in there? You were right. I should mix it a little bit more than I did.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, just pour that right in.
Yes, beautiful.
Okay. It's our
Nice
butter and
job.
our maple syrup. There we go.
Yeah, beautiful.
Very good.
Okay, so I'll just mix this together. Oh, doesn't that look yummy?
Looks good. I'm going to fire these in and just keep mixing
fire
around.
those in. Ooh,
Okay.
yum, yum, yum.
I'm stealing 2.
Yeah, make extra.
Well, those are incredible.
They're delicious, huh?
Wow. Okay.
Okay,
now I've washed my hands.
We're just going, you've washed your hands,
Yep.
so now we can dough that together.
It's pretty just straightforward. I just grab a little one of these.
Well, actually, mix it with your hands a little bit in
Really?
there.
I can get right in there?
Play right in there.
See, this is where the kids would love
so
this.
it forms a little bit of a nice dough in there first.
My kids would get into this.
Yeah, look, you can see it's a mud pie.
Oh, yeah. They would love that. And then they'd be eating all of it before it gets on the pan, for sure.
Right. Okay, now we can get a spoonful size. You can use your fingers. Yeah, make little balls.
Okay, look at my messy hands.
Nice, huh? Fun.
Is that too big?
Fun.
Is that kind of the size?
Well,
That's kind of a giant
just
cookie.
means you'll get a bigger one.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, that's
we can
kinda
make
cool.
them as big or as little as we want, really.
So basically, we're going to fill our pan up with these cookies.
Yep.
We cook them for about 12 minutes.
Yep.
Bake them for 12
Yep.
minutes. Bring them out. They're going to be absolutely delicious. Coming up next, we make a happy cow shepherd's pie. Welcome back to the Ayurvedic Way. On this episode, we're talking about food and family and how food has actually the power to connect us with one another. Well, what are we making here, Amrita?
We're making a happy cow shepherd's pie, and
Happy
you'll find
cow.
out soon
Okay.
why the cow
Okay.
is so happy. And we're sauteing the olive
onions.
oil.
Okay, we're putting that in there.
Sauteing the olive oil. Exactly, of course.
You're
We're
putting the
sauteing the
onions.
onions.
Right.
Yes, and the ginger and the garlic, of course.
Okay, so
brings
you're
out
going to
all
put
the
that
flavor.
in.
Yep.
So you're basically put that, and I'm slitting a nice chili here. I love this idea of taking a whole chili and just keeping it whole, because you can take it out whenever you want to take it out, but then you get all the goodness and heat of a chili, but then you just pop it out when
Exactly.
you want to go to eat.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so you're doing that.
Oh, it smells so good when we sizzle these. Delicious.
Okay. Now when can I put this in?
You can actually pop it in now if you
Sure,
want.
just let it sit in there.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
perfect.
I like that.
Just saute that a little bit. Again, we're calming the doshas with all these foods.
Now explain to me as you're doing that. This is a bean thing, a TVP you call it.
That's right.
What is it? Because this is how it starts in a crispy form. What is it?
Yes, it's TVP, which is texturized vegetable protein. It's actually made from soy. And when you soak it in vegetable bouillon for about 5 minutes, hot, it becomes like this. And it has the same texture as ground beef.
I'm just going to shut
But
off
of
her.
course, it's a vegetarian alternative.
So this, instead of having beef, this gives you the same texture.
Exactly.
And you can use vegetables right
Exactly.
in there. Okay.
Exactly. So we can actually toss the vegetables in, the TVP in.
I've got some nice mushrooms. Again, look at all
Yum.
this. Fantastic. This is a yellow pepper.
Again,
All
the
this.
rainbow colors you hear so much about. That
Peas.
ensures that we get all our nutrients. Yum, 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 yum.
Little celery. Man, this has
Yum.
got lots of good stuff. And then
Yum.
tomato, what is this?
Tomato sauce, yes.
Tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce.
Okay, we got
Gives
all
us
that.
that little bit of moisture and delicious flavor.
And then,
Woo.
what do I do with this? Just dump it in as well?
I dump the cilantro in.
Oh, cilantro.
Dump
Cilantro
it
and
in.
everything. I
Dump
love
it
it.
in. It balances all the doshas. It adds so much flavor. It's delicious.
A little bit of
Look how
salt
gorgeous this looks.
and some pepper.
Yum. I love the way you're seasoning this.
Just
Thank you.
slug it around
Thank
there.
you, Randall.
So
Perfect.
basically, that's we're going to let that cook now a little bit, right? How
That's
long
right.
do we let it cook?
This will cook for about 10, 15, depends really till it's done.
Okay.
If you need to add a little bit more liquid, go ahead and do that. So check on it a little bit, but we're going to let it cook in its own steam.
What a great dish, because it seals it right up and it's able to kind of cook in its own juices, right?
And that makes it really tasty. Sometimes you have to add water, but really if you can help it,
That's really good. Oh, that's
ooh,
perfect.
see how delicious that looks?
Okay, so you're going to ladle that. Oh, let me take out the chili pepper.
Thank
That
you.
is
That adds
fantastic.
all the flavor, but you can just take it out that way.
So you just
We're
put it
going
right
to
in this dish?
slowly put it. I'm going to get
Okay.
your help, Randall.
Okay, I'll do this. 'cause
Thank
I
you
like
so
holding
much.
stuff. There we go.
Great.
So I just put it all in.
Put it all in. We'll pat it down. We're making a happy cow shepherd's pie. We've used texturized vegetable protein, TVP. That adds the kind of texture that some people like if they're used to the ground
beef, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's got all the protein because it's made from soybeans.
And now we've got this really beautiful sweet potato.
Yeah, we've mashed it up, just
and-
like we'd make mashed potatoes, but we did it with sweet potatoes.
I just put this right in there.
Yeah, and they're low on the glycemic index compared to your regular potato, and they are delicious. That's why they're called sweet potato. So we're going to put that nice, mash that down there. And one of my favorite things about shepherd's pie, I just love shepherd's pie. I've always loved it. And of course, will you pat the other
I
side
can
down?
pat,
Thanks, Randall. One of my favorite things about it is that it's a comfort food. It's delicious. It's filling.
Well, you're making a cool
without
design.
and making the design. And the
Okay.
fork. I love this. How fun is this? I'll let you do some. Just so you
Really?
feel.
I guess
how
it's
fun
kind
is
of I
that,
feel like I'm
right?
playing in a sandbox.
And if you're doing this with your kids, because
Yeah.
the family's eating together and they get to do this part.
Now I get to sprinkle this fantastic cheese over too.
Freshly grated Parmesan.
Ooh, wow.
Will go on top.
I'm going to just sprinkle
Evenly
that.
sprinkled. Nice,
Yeah,
nice job.
The kids are going to be
Get
mad
it
if they
in
don't get
this
the
side.
corners, so I better
Exactly,
get the corners.
get the corners,
Wow.
get the corners.
Okay, so now how long is this guy going to bake?
This will bake for about 20 minutes.
Okay, so look at that. That looks like a
That
beautiful
looks
shepherd's
gorgeous,
pie.
Randall.
We're going to put this in the oven for about 20 minutes here. Look
Yeah.
at that. Whoa.
Nice.
Okay, coming up next, I talk with author Robin Harding about the importance of eating together as a family. Welcome back to the Ayurvedic Way. Studies show that children that eat together as a family do 4 times better in school than any other kids. I talked to author Robin Harding about this issue. In our fast-paced eat-and-run world, our kids often don't get the proper nutrition required, but they also miss out on the much-needed family connection time. I went to see Robin Harding, author of Mom, Will This Chicken Give Me Man Boobs?, to talk about eating as a family. Robin, your book is really interesting. You have this experiment that you wanted to do with your family to become green, to kind of let them experience what it's like to be green. What first got you into this idea?
Well, moving into Kitsilano, my neighborhood in Vancouver, it's a super green neighborhood, and so I didn't really have a choice. It was like, you know, I had to fit in, and I wanted to belong and keep up with the green. So I got on board and started to make some different choices for my family. One
of the things that I got from your book and even our conversation is the choices that you make as a parent are really, they're ethical choices, and the foods that we eat and the choices that we make, those are choices that you're trying to pass on to your kids. How do you do that? How do you get your kids engaged in choosing good foods?
Yeah, well, kids are like so aware these days. Like, we just had a sustainability fair at my daughter's school, and it was great. They talked about, you know, growing your own foods and where foods come from, and you know, pesticides versus organic, and composting. Composting's a huge thing, and all the kids are, you know, they're picking up worms and feeling them, and, you know, learning how to build their own compost and stuff. So I think that, you know, schools are doing it as well. The education system's on board, and then choices we make as a family obviously are also going to have an impact.
You're in your kitchen here, Robin, and I imagine that this is where you guys eat sometimes. You have 2 kids. Well, how do you guys, you know, have a family meal time? Because what we're finding is that that's so important these days, to actually have a time where you sit down with your kids, you know, listen about their day, and actually have good meals on their table. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes it just doesn't happen. My son and my husband are both involved in rugby, so 2 nights a week they're busy with that. But I keep the days where we don't have any activities are kind of precious, and I plan to cook. I plan to cook something good that night, and we all sit down together. And so maybe it's 3 to 4 times a week, but just whenever we can.
Yeah, and then that's, I guess, even for me too, I'm always, those times, I like that. I love hearing about their day. I love kind of asking what's going on and actually get FaceTime. And then I find that the foods that we then eat aren't just these prepackaged things that you take on the run. It's actually, you know, good quality food that you can actually make for a family.
Yeah, and even when they have something, I'm very anti processed foods. I mean, to a degree, I'm not hardcore. I use canned tomato sauce. I'm not spending all day using, you know, boiling my own tomatoes. But, you know, my son, when he has rugby, I give him, you know, he has a snack before he goes, and then he comes home and he eats a proper meal. Like, I don't think a granola bar or a, I don't know what else, a frozen burrito that you pop in the microwave really is sufficient nutrition. So I at least want him to eat something that's real and something that's a whole food.
Yeah, when you say real, that's, what do you mean? I know what you mean by that, but explain that, because you got into that in the book a little bit.
Yeah, well, Michael Pollan, who wrote The Omnivore's Dilemma, is a great source of information, and I quote him in the book a few times, and he says, if your grandmother wouldn't recognize it, then don't eat it. Like, he talked, for example, about yogurt tubes, right? Like some fluorescent pink gooey thing that comes out. Like, is that really what yogurt is supposed to be?
After you finish this project, I mean, obviously you're a writer. You wrote this book, and it became a very interesting, you know, project for you and your family. What did your kids think? Not only of the project, but what did they think of the book?
Well, they liked the book. My daughter hasn't read the whole book. She's a bit young for it. My son was really enjoying it and laughing, and then he came to one chapter where I talk about him. He's quite acquisitive. He likes to buy things. He likes to shop. He's fairly materialistic. And I said in there that, you know, he can be downright greedy. And he was so mad at me.
Mom, don't put that in the book.
Exactly, and it was too late. It was already published. And he was like, you should have asked. You just should have asked. And then I said, you know what, just don't read anymore then, because it's too late.
Wow. Robin, thanks so much for chatting. And I love this book. It's a great thing for families, for anyone who wants to really explore this issue about how to become green as a family. But I really love the idea of sitting down as a family and having those meals. It really forces us to have good conversation and have good food. And I think that's what you're trying to do too. Thanks so much, Robin.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's all the best.
You too.
Eating together as a family is a great way to build community. Just being with your kids, hearing what's going on in their lives, and having a meal. It's fantastic.
Welcome back to the Ayurvedic Way. Exercising together as a family is a great way to bring in harmony. As always, check with your physician first.
Eating together as a family is a great way to build community. Just being with your kids, hearing what's going on in their lives, and having a meal. It's fantastic. Training together as a family is a good way of keeping yourself in shape, but it's a little tougher. Kids don't necessarily want to do exercise with you, and they're so distracted by TV and video games and everything else. But here's one for kids under 5 that is a little bit fun and will give you a good workout. It's called a sumo squat with a kid in your arms. Meet my son Red. Pick your child up from the floor up, under the armpits and under the knees. Big breath in for the bottom, exhale to the top, nice wide base of the feet, big breath in, and exhale back up to the top. Fantastic workout for your arms, for your legs, for your core, the whole system. And it'll get your kids involved in what you do to stay in shape. Till next time, start light and do it right.
Whether you practice alone or with a partner, good breathing is the key to harmony in your body and your home. First, lie down and begin to follow the breath on the inside of your body. Begin to inhale deeply into the belly and lower back, ensuring the breath stays deep in the lower part of the body, not in the rib cage or upper chest. Hold the breath for a count of 3, then exhale more than you think you can. Learning how to breathe fully is like training any muscle. The more you practice, the better you get.
In the same way that fitness is a great thing to do with your family and kids, cooking asparagus, great thing to do. It's so easy and it's so healthy for you.
And so much fun.
Okay, so what do I do with these?
You're going to snap off the bottoms because that shows you the unedible parts.
Oh, I see. So don't use a knife. Just snap them.
Yeah, by the hands.
Okay.
Perfect way to do asparagus.
That. So just snap wherever it snaps. That's the part that needs to come off. Okay.
Yeah, like what kid wouldn't enjoy doing this? The
I
kid in me likes doing it.
If you get your kids actually handling food, that's really helpful.
Yeah, and also what's so great is to buy your asparagus as thin as possible and as fresh as possible. Asparagus calms all the doshas, in particular kapha and pitta. It has the astringent taste out of those 6 tastes essential in Ayurveda, and of course the bitter. It's a diuretic as well. It's filled with A, C, and D. We're going to let this simmer for about 4 minutes.
So we've let that cook there. Look at that beautiful looking asparagus. And I get to use these tongs, which I'm not really great at, but I'm going to just, I'm grabbing a bunch.
That's good, that's good.
Yeah, if I grab more than one,
yeah, that's perfect.
then we're in business then.
And they're still crisp. They're gorgeous green. You can see that. Don't they look fantastic?
They do.
Beautiful. Nice job, Randall.
One more. There you go.
Really nice job.
Okay, right in
now
there.
you just drizzle the ghee. Evenly drizzle. Ew, nice job you're doing.
Well, I'm learning.
Very nice.
Looks really
Evenly
tasty.
drizzle. Oh, that is so good. When you mix the ghee, well, wait till you see this.
Little
I'm going to just, little bit of fresh pepper, little bit of fresh salt.
I love doing little sound effects like that.
Yeah, you're good at those.
There we go. Okay, and then the cheese.
And now evenly we put the parmesan on. Oh, yum. Freshly grated parmesan.
This is going to be a cheesy
Absolutely yummy. Yummy, 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 yummy.
Okay, now we just put this in the oven for a little bit?
Put this in the oven. This is a simple, absolutely delicious way to serve asparagus.
Okay, that smells fantastic. Coming up next, we get to try all this great food. On this episode of the Ayurvedic Way, we've been talking about the importance of eating together as a family and how food can actually bring us together. Amrita, what did we make today?
We made a happy cow shepherd's pie with TVP, texturized vegetable protein, lots of yummy rainbow-colored vegetables, and sweet potatoes, so it was low on the glycemic index. We made a delicious asparagus that we then broiled in the oven with a bit of ghee and parmesan. We made carob cookies, which have no fat in the carob part of it. Amazing. And this is the fresh greens that we always have at every Ayurvedic meal.
This looks fantastic, and the smells are absolutely beautiful. What I love is having simple food, bringing my family together, and talking about the day together. It's really, really important. We really value it, and I hope that we've encouraged you guys to say, let's eat together as a family. It's really great. Coming up on the next episode of the Ayurvedic Way, we talk about the importance of me time. I head down to an Ayurvedic spa where I experienced the best massage I've ever had. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's dig in.